Welcome to this skill session. A skill session is our custom webinar format for our communities at Gerland, German Talent, and Glowland, Global Talent. More info on gerland.com and glowland.com. Enjoy.
Welcome, Matthias, and everyone else to this skill session. And thanks, Matthias, for taking the time to give this presentation about your consulting business regarding tax optimizations for freelancers and entrepreneurs. I would say I would let you introduce yourself and take over from here. And after 20 minutes, we will start the question phase. So until then, thanks again, Matthias, for having this skill session, and let's get going.
Well, thanks at first for having me, and hello everybody. Thank you for your interest in that maybe a little bit dry topic of taxes and how to make the best of it. Let me first introduce myself for a moment. I am an advisor all around the topic of taxes, business placement, and wealth management, meaning how to start your business, where to register it, where to pay your tax, and what to do with the money you receive from it, hopefully a lot. And let's switch to the presentation directly. This all is a little bit centered about location independent business, but it also works for you if you are still in one country and want to stay there. You have to just find a little bit to tweak it to your priorities. So the first thing before we talk about taxes is talking about why you're doing all this. Meaning, do you just want to get rich quickly? Do you want to make an impact with your business in your life? Is it just a job, but you want to work for your own? Find your why. That's more important than what you do. Because if you're in a 9-to-5 job now, and you switch to being a freelancer or self-employed or even entrepreneur, and you will trade a 9-to-5 life on your desk in a cubicle to an unhappy 9 to midnight life on a beach in Thailand. This is probably not what you want to do. So first, make sure that this business you're doing is the thing you really, really want, and not just because it says I will get my first 1.5 million a year. After you find your why, it's the best thing to define your business, meaning what exactly do I want to do? There are millions of opportunities, but if you are doing all of them a little, you will get nowhere. Find one thing to start and follow through with it for a long, long time until it will fly. For this, make sure you have a detailed plan on what to do. Like, who is my customer? Where is he located? Where is she located? In which countries will I serve? In which languages will I work? Where will I register my company? Where will I live personally? Where will I pay my tax? May I have some family? Where will they be located? Will I have children? Where will they go to school? There's not just one single point of saying, okay, let's save some taxes and do everything like before. It all links together in a big wheel. I call it the wheel of life, where it has to go around all aspects to be happy. So at first you think, where do you want to live? Stay in the country where you were born, where you were raised, where you're going to school, where you did your first 9-to-5 job, where you're studying? Or do you want to have a location independent? Do you have a dream to emigrate to another country? This place where you want to be or you want to stay makes a lot of difference on how you pay tax and where you pay. Like if you want to stay in your home country for more than half a year, you're most likely to pay your personal taxes in that country. There's not much we can do about it. If you're more flexible with your lifestyle and say, okay, I'm happy or I can think about and living 3 months in one country, 3 months in another, then 2 weeks somewhere else, and just moving a little bit here and there. It's not a need of being constant travel, just to have more than one base on planet Earth, and you can start to optimize and go where you're treated best for certain details. Like some countries are very nice their tax rates, like Dubai, but they're not maybe not a place to live in for everyone because of you don't like heat. And then you have countries which are very beautiful with the nature, but the tax rate is a disaster. So you want to optimize all those aspects between the different countries and zones and where you live, where you work, where you play. That's important. After you found the way where you want to live, you think, where do you want to open my company? which is the best legislation. This is not just about tax, but also about, do I speak the language, or do I have to hire an assistant, tax advisor, a lawyer to get every year reports done, or to even open up the country? Do I have to travel there very often to be present because of visa regulations, or that local people can have a company? Do you need to marry someone? Even some countries are not allowed to incorporate. Then you have, where do you want to pay your taxes? Just because you have a company in one country doesn't necessarily mean all the taxes have to be paid. That you can combine different companies in different countries to get the tax rate close to zero. This is not always what you want. Sometimes you think paying tax is a good thing to support the local economy. But for example, if you're in one country, why you still pay for the roads and the hospitals in that country where you don't live anymore? You should consider paying for the infrastructure in the country you are currently living, working, or enjoying the infrastructure there. Then where do you attract your customers? Sometimes it's important which customers you have and where they are for where you form your company. You can form on the British Virgin Islands, but don't expect that any Western European country will accept the invoices, because they say it's a tax haven, it doesn't count, we tax you anyway from where you are personally located, and we don't care about your tax evasion strategy in the Virgin Islands or Aruba or wherever you might think to go. And what kind of customers do you have? Do you have mainly B2B, working for other businesses? Do you mainly work for other consumers? Is it a mix? And where are they located? Is it, for example, within the European Union? Is it within the US? Is it worldwide? And what kind of structures do they have? Do we have similar companies in similar countries, or is it a big mix? Is it VAT, value-added tax, an important point? But this is all considerations you want to do before you even start importing anywhere or signing any piece of paper. And lastly, whether you want to keep and grow your wealth. Just because your company makes a lot of money doesn't mean it has to stay there. It's always good to separate your operating business from personal life, your personal business. Like if you get $1 million in your company and you get a big legal affair with some country or with some government or with a competitor, and they sue you for a lot of money, you lose all your money in the company is gone. If, for example, you put it into a foundation, into an association, other protective measurements, the company only has the minimum amount of money it has to be, like example, 25,000 euros for a limited company in Germany, or even £1 for a limited in the UK, is made. And that money, the company is bankrupt, you just open a new one and go on with your life, and your retirement and your family is still safe and knows where to live and what to do in the future. Well, that's basically the idea behind it. Today we are looking a little more into the topic of taxes. So what we want to do. It all depends, as I said, if you want to stay in your country or if you are more flexible in your movement. Let's say you are more flexible in that. If you're born in America or Eritrea, bad luck, because those two countries are the only ones at the moment that are taxing the citizens based on citizenship, not where they are currently living. So if you're a US citizen and you're living in Spain, you will still file your American tax return. There are double taxation agreements, but usually you're out of luck. With Eritrea, it's not that much of a business because they do have that rule, but they are not in the position to really enforce it for their expense. But everyone from America might have their issues with sheets I'm explaining today. So that's part of a more individual consultation thing. If you want to profit from international taxation, the more you break the ties to your home country, the easier it is that they let you go. Many countries require that you deregister from your town hall or corresponding office to say, okay, I'm gone. But with this, not just the liability to pay tax ends, but also the access to the social security system. Like if you finish your stay in, for example, Austria, you go to the town hall and say, okay, I'm gone, I'm leaving Vienna, I'm leaving Austria, I'm not coming back. You don't pay tax there anymore, but you won't get any health insurance from the state, you won't get any child support money or unemployment benefits. This all goes at the same time. So it might be good timing to consider when to cut those ties if you are still requiring some money out of that system. you should stay out of your home country at least 130 days per year. It's more in some countries. For example, in Switzerland, it's only 90. France has a law that they tax you if you spend more time in France than anywhere else. So if you spend 1 week in France and less than 1 week anywhere else in the world at the same place, you will be taxed in France. Just some minor details. So make sure to check the law for your country, if it's 130 days or if it's less. As soon as you spend more days in the country, they consider you to being a tax resident, because with 365 days a year, you can't spend 133 days in 2 years in 2 places in the same year. But just counting the days is not what always works. That most countries also speak about the place of economic and personal interest, meaning just leaving your family, your home, your car, your bank account in that country and say, I travel half a year and don't pay taxes there. This won't work either. If you have to come with you. If you have a flat or a house, you should sell or at least rent it, so that you don't have a permanent place to come back to that is the center of your vital economic personal interest. So make a plan if you want to move to the world, where you will be and how long you will stay, to avoid being taxed somewhere. Some countries require you to register first in a new tax residence in another country before they let you go. For example, people from Germany and Austria are happy to just sign off at their Bürgerbüro, their town hall, and are free to go. For example, in Spain, you have to, when you leave the country, tell some show from some other country that you are tax resident there, because Spain considers you not one of their tax residents if you are Spanish national, for example. So like if you say, okay, I'm leaving Spain, you first have to move somewhere else and make the paperwork. Okay, no, I'm tax resident of Panama or Paraguay or Thailand or wherever, before they stop wanting your tax return every year. And then finally, well, you pay taxes in the new country. But this might just be trading one tax resident for another. So now it's getting interesting how to reduce that tax to close to zero. A lot of countries, about 40 to 50, have a so-called territorial tax system. That means that only the country you earn in this country locally is taxed. So let's say you're a tax resident in Paraguay. They have that kind of system, but your company is located in Dubai, and you get your money in Georgia. You end up paying zero tax in Paraguay because your Dubai money never touches Paraguay, and you pay zero tax in Dubai as well. You're personally living maybe in Thailand or in the Philippines, so you just have tax from your business because zero tax in the UAE, and zero tax from your personal because you're a tax resident in Paraguay and you don't stay in Thailand or the Philippines more than half a year each. So you are safe to be not a tax resident anywhere. That's too easy to be true? Yeah, maybe. You just have to look whether here is fully legal. It's not a tax evasion scheme, but it's not just as easy as say, okay, I'm gone and I'm counting the days and just register anywhere and it will go well. You really have to break ties. You really have to change your way of living a little bit to make things possible. You just can't say, okay, I sign off the tax of the government office and say I'm gone, but still live in that country. Yeah, maybe at the first moment you will notice, but maybe once you have enough money, neighbor might be interested, or old friends will say, oh, he's here all the time. And sooner or later, this might make the way to the tax people. And then they will say, okay, thank you for lying for us, that you just don't pay the tax, you have to pay anyway. There might be legal actions coming after you. So my advice is don't cheat on this, don't try to trick the system. The system is quite well these days with automatically data exchange of where your money goes, how much you have in which country. When you enter and leave a country, like PNA data for flights and passport controls. So it's not just saying, okay, I sign off the tax system and stay undercover. This won't go well for quite a long time. If you don't earn much money with your business, maybe for a long time, because you're not interesting to be investigated by the tax people. But as soon as you earn significant money, they will check if you are still living there. From a personal example of one of my former clients, they checked the departure times of the flights when you left planes to see if that day counted as a day of presence in the country or not. So if that plane was late and departed after midnight, he spent a night in the country, it added 203 days. If you departed before midnight, just a visit, didn't count. So as soon as you get into the view of those people, it's very hard to repair things. So better plan it from the beginning. So what does this mean for you as an entrepreneur, as you starting your business? Think about in a more creative way of how you plan your taxes and your life, and choose the best options available. Like if you are buying new clothes, you look for exactly your size. You just don't buy a double XL because it's cheaper. You need an L if you wear an L. Yeah, do it the same with your taxes, the place where you want to live, the weather the people you like around you, the political safety you like, the community you like. Shop around the world for your optimal solution in this case. This might need a little bit of extra planning in the beginning, and a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of knowing where you want to be in 5 or 10 or 20 years, because what you're doing from the beginning is a long-term planning. It's not just let's open a company here. I can close it in 2 years and do it a different place again until you have all the tax haven countries take your list, and just are not happy with what you're doing and where you are, and spend a lot of money in training. And the last advice before we can go to the Q&A is don't do it too quickly. Don't look at the address and say, okay, here's a solution, just say shares company for 500 euros or $600 and be set. Usually it costs a little bit more, and it's only worth if you earn that much. So if you're just starting out, maybe it's okay starting out the first half a year or year in your home country until you make enough money to pay the extra cost. Because it doesn't make sense to save 1,000 euros of taxes with an international setup that costs you 5,000 each year. It's not a good deal. So think about that, and maybe you now got a little bit of more insight how international can work, what you can do, what you shouldn't do, and now I'm open to questions.
All right. Is that so? I think we're also perfectly on time. So thanks again, Matthias. Are you through with the presentation, or was there something?
Yeah, that's the presentation for now. I think we can go into a little bit of more into details if there are any questions, because it's a very individual field. It doesn't make much sense to show 10 different models on how you can do it. It might not apply to
No, it's perfect.
Everyone else watching that.
Yeah, it's perfect, because we want to keep it short for a reason, so that it just covers the general area, and then we can go into more detail either in the questions or later after the call. I think the freelancers can also contact you to talk about these things with you personally. What is the best way to reach you as a consultant?
Well, the best way to reach me is you go to the page you just saw. It's nomad.business, and on the book your consultation now and reach out, or just send me an email, and then we'll go over the details.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thanks again for the presentation. It's a very interesting topic, and it's a topic I think where everyone can make optimizations, small or big, or make a strategy. I think it's important to every person that is a freelancer or self-employed or has a business, how to best organize their lives and their tax lives. Is there any question from you guys, from the community?
Nothing too specific for me. I would actually contact you outside of this because there are some specific questions I would ask, but
okay,
nothing too nothing I guess that would be beneficial to anyone else. But I do have to say that actually it was a really good presentation. I also did a scale session, and it was much better than mine, in my opinion.
I wouldn't say so. I think it was a totally different topic, but I really think so too. It's a great presentation, especially if you, if you want to start out with that topic. But yeah, Leon, I liked your skill session. It was really good. But anyone else with a question or search? Do you have any questions?
Yes, maybe. I think if I can ask that, what actually which cash flow yearly we need to generate before we start thinking of tax optimization? At what scale it makes sense?
Usually it starts to make sense as soon as you reach the top tax bracket of the country you're currently working in. And if you are not earning so much that you are paying the highest tax bracket in your country, usually it's not worth thinking about evading this, except if you want to leave your country anyway, then there's always a good point to do that. But as long as you're living in a country, to stay there and pay the medium or even the lowest tax amount over there, it's usually not enough money you earn to start thinking about such a structure. Like the cheap, let's not say the cheapest, but the cheap valuable structures start about between 2,000 and 5,000 euros a year to be safe. So if you don't save that much in tax, it doesn't make sense to start such a structure.
All right.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
I have a question actually. You said that people who are not earning a lot are also not interesting to the tax authorities to be investigated. What's the threshold there? Is it the same as you said before, like the top tax bracket, or what's the threshold for that kind of investigation?
Yeah, usually the people in the top threshold are those who are looked at first, because there's a lot of money involved which pays for the extra investigation. Since a lot is going automatic these days with all those checks of bank accounts and where the money is coming from and where it is going to and you locate, even the medium tax bracket might draw attention if they don't follow the. If you make your tax return late, at least one, you are in a certain group of people who will be watched closer, or if the data you give them doesn't make sense, you will be watched a little bit more carefully. Or if you with foreign companies or foreign freelancers, you might also be looked a little bit more in detail than if the money stays locally in the country. Like if you're located in Germany, but all your suppliers are from non-EU countries and all you get are from non-EU customers, it's a little bit more looked at as if you are having a business with German suppliers, German customers, or even EU customers, EU business, then it's a little bit less looked at. But as soon as you start to break the rules or bend the rules, you are very easily into investigation.
All right. Okay. So I think, yeah, thanks again for these advices and these intros. I will share this too with our community. We're around, I think by now, like 180 freelancers that are in the community. And so there might be a lot of them actually that are interested in this topic. Yeah, so I would say that we can stop the recording here. I'm going to stop it here.